Welcome, Alissa Rosskopf. Rosskopf.
Well, that's right, Alissa Rosskopf. Thank you very much.
You're allowing for the fact that I'm an Australian and having a bit of difficulty with the German name, so thank you very much. Alissa, you were in the class that I spoke to yesterday, and you stood out to me, and I really did want to talk with you and introduce you to many, many people that I write an email to every week, principally because you're a Gen Y person, and we hear so much about Gen Y, and Gen Y doesn't come up to our expectations or are difficult to deal with or whatever. So I really want to hear it from your side. So we'll do a minute with Max, if we may. Tell me, where were you born?
I was born in Wiesbaden. This is a city in Germany near to Frankfurt, and it's a middle-class city, really small. And then I moved to Switzerland 2 years ago, and now I'm living here near to the school at the Lake of Constance.
Tell me about the course you're doing.
Well, my major course are economics and law, and I'm doing also a major course in mathematics and English. And despite all the courses, I have normal courses like physics, chemistry, biology, and I'm attending this course with all of the class. And like a major course and in smaller groups, and all the courses are just a class.
Understand. Now, you have an accent that has a number of twangs in it. Where have you been, and how have you developed those different twangs in that accent?
Well, I was living for 3 months in California when I was 13 years old, I guess, and then I was attending a school in McLean, which is a little city near to Washington, D.C., and to go to high school, and I was living in different boarding schools, so I guess there's my accent from.
Now, Germany, of course, or Switzerland, I should say, there actually has 4 different languages, does it? Yep.
It's really interesting. It's a culture mix between Italian and French and German, of course, and then a really little part of the population also speaks Romanian, which is actually the original language of the country, and it's a really interesting mix between the cultures, and Switzerland is actually a melting pot of different cultures, and that's what makes the country so interesting. And you have the American
accent thrown in as well. Tell me, what do you want to do when you finish your course?
I would like to become a diplomat, or if not, I'm becoming a diplomat, I would definitely like to work in a major, in a big company and doing business, like economics. I would really like to looking forward in this.
I remember asking the group yesterday to make a note of or tell or write down exactly what you'd like to do, what goals you have, and you immediately you were very specific in the goals you had. I was very impressed with that. It's important. It's lovely to see you with very strong goals and heading towards them. Gen Y. Now you are Gen Y, and as I said, people complain about Gen Y. Tell me it from your side. What are you looking for when you come out of school and come into business, into industry?
Well, I guess the problem is what most bosses complain about Gen Y is that they're so independent, that they have their own free will, and that they don't look for structured way, but they look for ways to impress themselves and do their own job experiences. And I guess when I'm looking for a perfect boss, I would like somebody who really encourages me but leaves me a lot of freedom, so I can work alone or work in a team, but come up with my own solutions and ideas. And I guess Gen Y is one of the most educated generations that has ever been in the whole industry, because all the baby boomers are having 1 child or 2 child, and they're putting all the effort in those childs they have. And of course they get a lot of more opportunities than my parents had. I have more opportunities, and that's why they're so self-concerned, and they know what they wish, and they want to show this in business. They don't want to be treated like some just, under the boss, just some common people. They have to work for the company, but actually as with potentials who can at someday lead the company if they work hard. And I guess that's a problem that most bosses are still thinking about in this pattern things, that they are like, you're under my rule, I tell you what to do, then you go on and do this. And when I'm coming into business, I want to have some boss who's talking with me in an open dialogue and asking, what do you think about this? You think we could do it like this, or what's your solution, or what's your idea for this? And I guess
I like that. I like that. So if you were the boss, if all of a sudden you came out of here tomorrow and you were the boss, what would you do to encourage me as a Gen Y person?
Well, as first I would have a personal interview with you, just not first business, but first about your person, to make sure that you know your worth as a person. And no matter what you do, I first see the person in you, and then look about business with you, and then I would see through your CV and see what your which goals you have achieved, and then I would ask you where do you see you in 1 year? What goals do you want to achieve in 1 year, and how much effort you are capable to do, and what effort are you willingly to do to get your goals to be achieved.
Good, I like that. Best advice you've ever had?
Well, I guess it would be never to give up and always fight for two. It's not just fighting for one person, but always do good things, not for yourself, but also for other people.
And is there a best book that you'd say is the best you've ever read?
Well, it's actually in German. It's Vollendes Gespür für Schnee. It's by a Danish author. I kind of forgot his name right now, but it's a really good book, and it's about snow and about...
Well, I'll dodge around trying to translate
that.
Yeah,
it's really it's some kind of a original tribe in Northern Europe, and it's really interesting.
Okay. Is there a best, a favourite quote?
Well, I know it's from Napoleon, and I know we had this in French when we were talking about this, and he said at some time that the only best strategy is not effective if the people who are standing behind this not totally fight to get the strategy to be how do you say this, to be fulfilled, or that the goals are going to be
okay
achieved.
So you really want them coming, you want to lead the team.
It's not just the strategy, but it's about the people who are standing behind this and they're fighting for this.
Okay. Is there one achievement you're most proud of?
Yes, I guess this would be a scholarship I got for a boarding school. I was really working hard for this, and I wanted to do the IB for a long time, and I was working really hard in studying physics and chemistry and English apart my normal schoolwork, and then I wrote a test and I got my points, and they offered me a scholarship, which made me really proud.
Well done. What about an embarrassing or memorable moment? Do you have one of those?
Yeah, I was doing theater a long time ago, and at this time when I was applying to that certain boarding school, they asked me to perform something on stage, and I was so nervous because this first time it was like to show everything and to get this scholarship. And I stepped onto this to the stage and flipped and slipped down and was lying on the stage, and then I got so lost out of my role, and I forgot my whole tags and was worrying, and
so it was awful.
Yeah, it was really awful. And then they asked me to do this again, and I did it, and it was quite nice, and it was a bit.
What about two people, living or dead, that you'd like to have dinner with?
Well, I'm certainly fascinated by Catherine the Great, and I like Mother Teresa. I think really two different people. It would be interesting to see how they're.
That'd be a good dinner. I'd like to sit in on that. And finally, is there a best idea you've ever seen to attract customers?
Well, especially in hotels, I'm always complaining about the light installation. It's just so. If you're lying in bed and you want to read a book, it's always hard to read. It's too dark. The lights are too much away from the bed, and then you turn on the main light, and then the light is too harsh, and then it's not comfy. So I think good light installation would be really good.
Put some good lights in hotel rooms.
Yeah, and especially for women in the bathroom, they always complain about the harsh light, which is like going shopping and standing in the cabine looking at yourself like, I don't want to go like this. So
Alissa, thank you for being or spending a minute with Max. I'm very pleased to show you and introduce you to the world, and thank you for being a great part of the class or the group that I spoke to yesterday. It was my privilege and pleasure to share some ideas with you.
Thank you so much.